Tim?
What was the occasion yesterday?
Wife had to work day shift.
Sounds about right. Oh, okay. Long story.
Poor planning on her part.
Oh. I understand.
You don't like it, but, you know.
Wait, you want an agenda? There you go.
I got one away from you. Thanks. Let's go. Gotcha.
See, it's not for the Chris.
I put a new battery in that microphone for you.
You did?
Hopefully it works a little better.
A little
Hopefully.
bit broadcast for more than
My brother sent me that.
Happy Kirby.
That's helpful.
Of course, come back here and lose signal.
What's that?
He said, of course, I come back here and lose signal. Back here in the tape.
Is that Verizon or AT&T?
It's Google Fi. They run off of T-Mobile and
Oh, there you go.
off of T-Mobile and AT&T.
What you looking for?
He said it was their problem, their whole system. So he said. It's not like them to admit that. Right. Maybe they're just being nice to him. Right. The Zoom meeting. Zoom. Oh. You heard of Zoom too?
Yeah,
Calm down.
President's goal.
I like that, dude.
That calm down the animals. Literally.
That's just one of them. I've got another one.
And of course there was Christmas on there.
Not
Too bad you got, that's just one of them.
Yeah, they're doing.
But the other ones are still
They do 8, almost
like 3 months old. If
I was gonna say, you got in at the opening gate, so.
If I would have gotten in
2 months sooner on that one. There'll be an extra 3 or 4 zeros on that.
So what's your
Are
machine?
they taking applications?
I'm not using any machines right now.
You said it was down, I was curious.
Just pure investment.
Nothing wrong with that.
I want to, but I don't feel like paying $8,000 for a minor.
I don't think it's worth it. Even if you got in it last year.
Yeah, you would need like 6 machines just to make a profit.
In a direct line to Ameren, so.
Yeah,
Definitely could have been on
and then
Wednesday,
hook it up to all liquid cooling.
so the kids can go to big.
Reuse that
Well,
space heater in the
Put it at
winter.
the bottom of the pond, so.
Yeah. I've got a buddy he's got 12. And he doesn't work no more.
God, I did too.
That's how well he's doing with that.
He farms in a different sense, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So.
He got in early. He's good. And probably a couple generations ago.
And then Tony and
I had 10,000 Bitcoin. And I sold when it hit $1.
Window knocker.
Oh, yeah.
We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Thanks for coming, everybody. Roll call, please.
Kate Davis.
That's right.
Tim Emmer.
Here.
Ray Higginbotham.
Yes.
Darren Phillips.
Yep.
Dan Smock.
Here.
Brad Davis.
Here. Pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recognition of guests, we have Mr. Wyatt Watercotty with us again and Mr. Donnie Neal. Thanks for coming, guys. Approval of the consent agenda, which moves on to the claims, which includes the claims and accounts.
Abbott Associates, $1,535. AEP, $1,104.05. Ameren, $1,079.56. Baker Tree Service, $1,650. Blue Cross Blue Shield, $5,099.10. Farnsworth Group, $37,099.86. Henson Robinson, $990. INB Visa, $2,594.22. PDC Aerial Disposal, $780.03. PH Broughton, $167,556.01.
That bill from Farnsworth looks pretty high. That's because they closed out several things. One being that we were still waiting on information for the 121 entrance. That's the highest portion of it. That's $17,000, I believe, which will be paid out of the TIF. And $10,000 or $8,000 for the railroad force main crossing that they did some work on. That we've kind of. That's why they went ahead and billed us for it. Is what I'm saying. There's not like they did a bunch of work this month. And then obviously closing up the motor fuel tax. So that's why that number's so high. Got any questions? The invoice is up there to be explained. Any questions or concerns? Claims? It's a big one because of the motor fuel tax. We finally got the bill from PH Broughton, which looks good. The last several years, money well spent. There's no discussion. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion Smock.
I'll second.
Second Phillips. Roll call, please.
Kate Davis.
Yes.
Tim Emmer.
Yes.
Randy Higginbotham.
Yes.
Darren Phillips.
Yes.
Dan Smock.
Yes.
Brad Davis.
Yes.
Motion passes. Is there any public comments on the agenda items? Officer reports. Chief West is unable to be here. He had something come up at home. He said he didn't really have much to report. I didn't have any specific questions for him. Did anybody else have anything for Chief West? He said he'd be more than willing to take a call right now if we needed to talk to him about anything.
Yeah, he called me and I asked him the same thing, and he just said possible like window knocker or whatever.
Yes,
Saturday night.
the window knocker.
But he said him and the county drove around and there were no other reports. So it sounded like an isolated incident.
Okay.
But that's all.
Okay. Public Works?
Under water and sewer, I don't really have much to report other than we've done some winterization stuff, getting ready for that. And streets and alleys, I don't have a whole heck of a lot this time as well. As you can tell, it's leaf season. Like I mentioned last time, we kind of been out giving that thing its inaugural run today for a little bit. Been in touch with Farms Ruth Group, obviously closing out our MFT program for this year, and got a pretty good grasp on which direction we want to go for next year, I believe. So the sooner the better we get that put together, get it approved. It'd be great. The only other thing that we've put some considerable amount of time in is a project that we had talked about for a while, and we finally got it pretty much done. It's on Scott Court, widening that street out. That street was laid out who knows how long ago. The fellows got it finished up. We got to do a little culvert work down there tomorrow, but other than that, that project will be pinned up as well.
Okay.
So that's pretty much what I have.
Plan to do some of them other spots that we spoke of, like by the library, where you guys were plowing around it last year, where they're just kind of dangling in some
Well,
intersections.
a lot of times the reason we plow around the libraries because the cars are parked there.
You went around it because the trees were hanging, because it would just ruin your equipment. I mean, my pickup truck almost hits. I know the UPS truck hits.
To answer your question, there is plans in the works there.
Okay.
We intend on doing some of the trimming we can do this fall with utilizing how we've made the leaf vac a 1 to, if needed, 2-guy job. So that frees up a couple of guys we can work on tree trimming, cutting,
Right.
at least going as high as we can with the equipment we currently have.
Right. I mean, most of it's just where it's, a car can't park or an intersection. It's nothing really.
Agreed.
Just a couple, just the clearing the street path for the cars is really just a couple spots.
Yeah, it's not really terribly out of control like you say.
No, it's not.
But I mean, it definitely needs to be addressed. I agree.
Yep. If you can find a dozen spots where you think you want it done, or half a dozen, and do them this year, and then do the next in the spring, that's fine. So.
Fair enough.
Anything else for streets and alleys?
Do you have any plans of fortifying the truck route at all in the near future? Like, what road is that? Marion. Technically Marion, where it curves into German.
Marion, where it comes into German off of
Yeah.
Washington.
And Scroggin, that's Scroggin too. That
Scroggin
whole route
goes
all of it.
back
I
to
mean,
the
all
east.
of it, all the way out to the highway is all. The edge just goes so fast. And it's just all potholes.
And we have put considerable effort in it several times just for it to go away that quickly.
It's heavy truck road.
Especially during harvest.
It gets a workout. You're exactly correct.
McDonald Street.
I wish I, off the top of my head, had a plan to make it last longer.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I don't. But I will definitely look into that and see what we can do to make that more of a permanent fix.
That's all I have.
Well, I think a lot of the problem we had in the past was coal patches. It was what we were using.
Mm-hmm.
And that coal patch will get you by for a couple months, and trucks will just push it right out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
We've found success with our patching machine, so that would probably be our next avenue of let's take a little time to grade it, come back in, lay it, and seal it down and see if that doesn't do any better result. At least try to get it to last just a little bit longer, obviously.
Okay. Anything else? Public Works. Deposits from 10/13 to 10/26, total 51,782. The biggest one of those was those were the three major ones. Any questions on the deposits? Okay, we'll skip over old business because there's just a couple small things to discuss, but I want to let Tony hear from Republic. He took it upon his own time to travel here to speak with us, so we'll go ahead and let you go to the top.
No, I appreciate it. I'm just going to hand everybody a business card, just in case at the end of this, if questions come up afterwards. Those are all kind
have a way to reach out, and feel free to ask them. Yeah, so Tony Moore with Republic Services. My position is municipal manager. Basically, all that means is I deal specifically with municipalities, ones that we have contracts with, or ones that are inquiring about different ways of what contracts can do for their community. I think one of the biggest things that we come in and try to be a partnership with the entire community. First off, we always look at services for all the residents. I know what kind of sparked this was you guys are looking at recycling. I'm not sure what you have right now and like what kind of solutions you're looking for. Do you guys have like a drop point that you're currently using, or
We don't,
do you not have anything at all? Okay. So, recycling, just to be upfront and honest, I'm sure you've probably heard this from other providers as well. There's nothing in it for us. There's no meat on that bone. It costs us, to be flat out and honest with you, I pay $70 a ton, well, not me, company pays $70 a ton to ensure that the recycling is taken care of the way it's supposed to be. In this area here, we actually partner with Midwest Fiber over in Bloomington. That's where we take everything. The plus side of that is, one, your recycling is being done the correct way. We can guarantee it because we can show you any tickets or anything else that comes straight out of your community. Second part about it is we're a single stream recycler, so we still accept everything. We put no limitations on what recycling can go in. So even including glass, which a lot of people have turned away from at this point. Our mission in recycling is just that. We want to be the best at it. We want to be perfect. We want to always make sure that we're doing right by the environment on that. That's one of our big pillars of our selling points is environmental. So on the other side of that, though, one of the ways that we help out as well is actually looking at a municipal contract for the residents, making that recycling part of it as well. There's some great rates that come with that, first and foremost. So I'm not sure what you guys are paying for trash services right now, a quarter. But we have a lot of municipal contracts close to here where we do all the residential services. I would say they're anywhere between $17.50 a month to $19 a month, depending on what they're looking for.
And that's for both?
That's for trash and recycling, yep. Obviously, there's recycling we can do at the door. That costs a little bit more money because we're actually taking a truck all around town. A more affordable option would be we could set up an actual recycling center, if you will. To be honest with you, it's nothing more than a 30-yard dumpster that we actually put a roof on because we want to keep as much environment out of there as we can so it doesn't spoil it. And then we would, maybe come once a week, once every other week to pick that up, change it out. That way we're making sure it's not just a dumping location. The other thing that comes with that as well is we offer free municipality services to our customers that do a contract with us. So any municipality building within city limits, we'll take care of it, no cost. We also like to throw in cleanups with that as well. So we may say, hey, we're going to give you 8 30-yard roll-offs a year that you guys can do whatever you want with as a community to try to help clean up your community. So even if you are paying close to that $19 a municipal contract, still gets you a lot more, for the community than what you're probably getting right now with the service. If it came down to it and you're like, hey, we just want to talk recycling, we would show you something, but I won't lie, it's going to be more expensive just because at least if I have recycling in the trash, I can turn something with the trash.
If you were, I don't think anybody right now in this room's currently interested in a roll-off recycling center. Are we agreed upon that, or we can always go back to that?
Yeah.
We had some problems with the other ones, dumping.
Absolutely.
People outside of city limits using it filled up fast.
Yep.
Things along those lines. The main thing, and I forgot to ask the guy from area this last time, but if we were to have residential recycling, is there any way that we can also have businesses recycle? I know that our school is very environmentally sound, very environmental minded, and really when we took that dumpster away from them, schools would need it.
They could be transported to from the other.
Right. Would it be alley side or curbside?
We would really ask for curbside. Biggest reason for that is, at least for us, we use automated trucks anymore. So rear load's a thing of the past, which is great for us because that means our guys are staying in the truck, they're staying healthy, they're staying on the road, which is where we need them.
Yes.
So our buckets come out and pick up. They don't ever get out of the truck. 9 times out of 10, I haven't cruised through your community, but there's usually power lines and alleys. So we tend to stay away from that because we don't want to hit one of those with our.
I mean, if it's all automated with a boom, you wouldn't be able to do it in our alley. So our power lines go run all through our alleys.
Yeah, that's what I figured, yeah. And we still have some rear load trucks. We just try not to use them. I mean, they're really, if you look at our safety statistics in accordance with, everybody else in our industry, we blow them out of the water. And that's the biggest reason is we keep our guys in our truck. Everybody else, man, they have shoulder, knee, back.
Right.
There's so many things that go wrong when you start throwing trash.
You said you do some local municipalities around here. Can you give us a couple of maybe if we were to call for some references?
Yeah. So I say around here. Most of them are actually in the Bloomington area.
Okay.
So you look at Hudson, Minear, St. Joe's, Towanda, Cooksville, and Colfax. I can give you a list of like 10 customers per se if you want, and just shoot it over to you guys so you can call. I'll give you contacts to call as well, because I think St. Joe's was probably one of our newest ones that we did, and they went from they had one provider in town, and that one provider was charging them about $30 a month per home. We ended up getting them a service. They get free cleanups with those roll-offs. We did do a drop site for them for recycling because they had it in the past and it had worked. Trying to think, there was one community event that we said we volunteered for as well, and we ended up getting them down to $17 a home per month. We do part of that cost is too. I don't know if you guys have thought about it, but we look at actually billing you guys just one lump sum a month, and so obviously we go on a water bill or something like that. We can bill each home individually, but that's just going to raise the price because we're just going to pass that cost through.
Right. Do depending on the size of the municipality, we have about 1,500 people, 800 in some homes. I know it's hard for you to guess off the top of your head, but what would it be, just if you could guess, what billing would be if we were to have you handle it? $1 a month, $0.50 a month?
No, I would say you're probably closer to about $4 or $5 a month.
Okay.
When you think about, we're printing everything, we're billing everything out. I would say with the day of electronics, you have a lot of people that would use their phone. But also, no offense, in smaller communities, there's still a lot of people that don't do that. So we would probably have to keep them bills flying here.
Right.
But the other side of that too is, if we say, hey, we're going to charge you guys $17.50 a home, and hopefully nobody gets stuck on numbers. I'm just kind of throwing out. And you say, okay, in return, I'm going to charge $19 a home on their water bill. You could get to the point where, one, you're still saving your residents money, and two, you guys are able to start collecting a little bit of pot there to put some money back in the community. Or if it's not putting it back in the community, it's paying administrative fees or anything else that covers those costs. Usually you guys, or municipalities, can do it cheaper than we can.
Right.
Question I have, how flexible are you guys with like your roll around toters for special events? Because obviously, like any other small community, we have special events several times a year.
Yeah.
And that's usually a struggle for us to, especially like with our fall festival this past year. I'm not going to mention the company, don't need to. But we were so accustomed to having roll around toters, and they could supply them this year, and it really kind of was a little more challenging for us. Shall I add? I mean, this.
Yeah. So I'll definitely say, and I hate to support competitors, but it doesn't surprise me that they're having troubles getting toters this year. It's across the industry. Getting garbage cans you'd be shocked on how many phone calls that we're making right now just to make things keep going. One of the things we do, I don't know what they provided you with. A lot of times we provide people with event boxes, and what they are is literally just cardboard boxes.
Yeah.
And we just come by and sweep them all up. If that was something that you're like, absolutely nope, we don't want that. We want toters in there. Again, I would say put it in the contract. Hey, we have an event this year, at this time every year. We want X amount of toters for that event. We want you guys to provide them.
Because we generally you know, it's not like we wait till the last week or two before the event. I mean, we're usually planning it a couple months ahead of time because we realize that it's going to take, you know, all our vendors to have to put things together on their end as well.
Yeah.
And to answer your question about the event box, it's not a fan.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Up here on our wonderful square, which is a great place, but there's always a breeze up here.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it here and it ends up down there.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm down there to bring it back down here, and you follow my track. I mean, we tried it. They provided it for us, you know, and good for them to come up with a solution on the interim matter.
Yep.
But didn't sell me off on it. But and I never thought about the idea if you was to go that way to put that into your language.
Yeah.
So you covered your base essentially annually.
Yep. And that's what I was saying. The good thing is you guys have a lot of the cards now. Don't get me wrong. If you go off the deep end with all the requests, you know, we come back and say, hey, this is now you're looking at $35 a month per home. We need to wrangle this in a little bit. But one event a year where we bring extra toters or recycling, you know, at the school, those are minimal things. You know, we got some people who are like, hey, we want 30 roll-off boxes a month or a year for our community, and I'm like, first off, you're never going to use that many, and that's going to cost a fortune.
What is your bins and pickups? You like one for recycling, one for trash?
Yep.
Different days, same day pickups? Or?
So that would be, the only reason I don't want to answer that is I would let operations look at it as a whole.
I mean, generally, I think the other one company will recycling every 2 weeks.
Yep.
Trash is weekly.
Yep. So that's what we would ask to do it that way. Again, that's just more affordable recycling, actually letting that bin fill up. It doesn't fill up as fast as your trash for some people. Some people are really good about recycling and that thing fills up in a week. But yeah, we would do trash weekly, recycling every other.
And it had to be in your bins, right?
Correct. And the only reason for that is because of the trucks. But on that note too, again, as far as Republic, we don't charge anything for the bins. So if they get broken or anything else, there's not going to be this additional delivery charge or pickup charge to use it for our trucks. So we're going to eat any additional costs there as far as making sure that your residents' trash cans are maintained.
What would you say, as far as price fluctuation goes, or price, what do you want to call it, inflation?
Yeah.
What would you say a trend would be over a 5-year span?
Yeah. So I can hit it right on the head for you, 3.5% a year. That was a lot of sighs at once when I said that. But with a little nudge, I will always say everything's negotiable too. But that's about right where we're seeing everything.
Republic's been around a while. What's the background on Republic?
Yeah, so we're an organization. I don't know if anybody remembered Allied Services or not, but Republic actually, I take that back. Allied actually purchased Republic, but we kept the Republic name, and Allied's our parent company. It's fun. But we've been around for a long time. Our general manager for this area actually has about 46 years in the industry. Started at the landfill, worked his way through our organization. Our operations manager's got 23 years, and both of our operations supervisors are right around that 10-15 year mark. Tenureship for drivers across the company, we're somewhere around 15 years. Locally, we're more about 17-18 years.
So you're nationwide?
Yep. Okay. Yep. We're a Fortune 300 company. You know, as far as municipality services, we got thousands across the nation. We know what we're doing. I can promise you that. But it's more than that for us. Like I said, it's a partnership. We don't take it for granted whatsoever at Republic, just because we know that you guys are guaranteeing us business. So in return, we got to give you the best of the best that we can give you. I think any reference that I give you is going to tell you without a doubt. That's what we do. The other good thing is as well, like I'm not a sales guy. I'm not just here trying to pitch this to you. If you guys did decide to go with us, you went to bid and say you picked us. I can spread capital out over 5 years a lot better than I can over 3 years. Don't get me wrong. We've had municipalities that have started and said, hey, we specifically want a 3 year, and we'll do it. It's just a little more cost with that.
I was just curious,
Yeah.
you know, we haven't bid out something like this.
Yep.
I don't know if it was a 20-year commitment, 10-year
No.
commitment.
I really, my recommendation would honestly be to never go over 5 years. A lot of things change in 5 years. So that gives you guys at least every 5 years to sit down and say, hey, are we still happy with our current provider, or do we want to go back out to bid and see what other people can provide for us? You know, if you guys did this bid, I guarantee you, whoever you have for X amount of time on the first contract, once you're over that, if you decide to go to bid again, you're still going to get 3 or 4 companies that are going to come in. So it's going to stay competitive, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, if we went for a longer one, does that affect the $17 to $19 figure? And then the 3.5%, or is that just a loaded question?
No. I mean, it's no hidden fact that the longer that I can spread out capital, the better the price is going to be. You know, I think at the same time where I say it's good for you guys to assess everything in 5 years, one of the reasons we like to stay with 5 is it's good for us to assess everything in 5 years. So if I say an 8-year contract with you guys, and again 5 years down the road, something happens in our industry that just tanks it, you know, we want that opportunity to kind of review and be able to explain everything with you guys, as opposed to being like, man, we're gonna take it here for 3 more years until we can figure something else out.
So that seems like a good lead into fuel surcharges and things like that as
No.
things go along. Nothing like that on there?
Nope. So the best thing about the contract is I will never say that I won't come back to you if something changes. Explain what's changed and maybe ask. But you guys have that contract to protect you. So you can always be like, hey, nope, we got a contract ready to go. Or, you know, if it's something with recycling, if that continues to trend downhill and I come back and say, man, the quarter of home was really going to help us continue to do this right. I will tell you, in the 20 contracts I've had, I've only had to do that with 2 municipalities going in that just, I mean, it was just, numbers were too low. And they helped. It wasn't a significant jump, but the residents and everybody decided to help out to make sure that things were going right. So we try to do projections as best we can year over year. You know, when we get an RFP, that's literally what we do is we throw everything in there. How much all the cost is for the trucks, the carts, all that, what it costs year over year. We want to really try to get projections as best as we can, so that kind of conversations don't ever have to happen.
Okay, any other questions for Tony? Good conversation all around.
I would say just to finish it, you know, if you guys do decide to do an RFP, see what companies provide for you. Maybe even say, hey, we want 90 days after things are in to show your residents what you can get as well. At the end of the day, if you guys don't like any of it, just throw it all out. Stay with what you're doing. Doesn't cost you guys anything. Well, maybe a lawyer fee. I don't want to say it doesn't cost you anything.
He's not here right now. We like to pay him once a month.
But no, we're always happy to provide that, and you know, we understand that things don't always work out. But yeah, I'm happy to provide anything I can from our company to show you guys what we're willing to do to again be a good partner.
How long do you need for a bid? Let's say we decide to do this. What's your time frame?
So, state of Illinois actually says that I think council has to give, I want to say it's 12 days minimum for a bid. I would say if you want a company to really do it the right way, I would give them about 3 or 4 weeks. There is, like I said, there's a ton of cost projections that go into it. So to do one of them, you know, it's about 3 or 4 different meetings before I take it up to our area office to try to get approval.
So
to
it takes
make sure that
a
we
while.
get it right. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And then I would, you know, as far as when you would ask somebody like, hey, we want boots on ground to start, I would ask, if it was from us, I would ask for like a couple months or something. And that's just to make sure that I get all the capital that I would need, again, if it were ever to go that way, to make sure that we're not missing out on providing the residents what they need.
Just complete curiosity, how big of a reroute would that be? Like, you're not around here.
Well, not around here. You're right. So I don't think it would be, you know, it would be a little bit of a reroute down towards Springfield. We would actually just make this a day. have a guy come up here and, he wouldn't need a whole day to get through your community, don't get me wrong. But this would be the route. You got about 40 minutes of travel time up here and then back to landfill, dumping, all that, so it wouldn't be that bad.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, but you're right, we're not this way at all. All right, well, great. Well, again, if anything comes up, you guys all got my card. I'm happy to answer any questions, comments, concerns, whatever the case may be. If you get to those RFPs and go, man, I really don't know what to do from here, I can also show you what other communities have done. There's nothing that I've written or anything else, don't get me wrong, because we're not allowed to touch those, but I can definitely show you, like, hey, here's what other communities have presented to us to bid on. Just let me know what you guys need help with.
Will do.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. You guys have a great night.
You too.
Thank you.
Well, we might as well stick on the subject to continue to speak about it. We've had 3 people come here, give presentations. I think every company has their pros and cons. I think it all just depends on what fits best for us. I would personally like to see us move forward with an RFP, changing the ordinances and doing this, but that's just my opinion. What's everybody else think? I think it provides value. I don't think it's going to be as much. We're not going to burden our residents with that much more of a bill than what they already have.
Right, if they're already paying for trash pickup.
The only thing is, I have to decide on curb or alley. I'm a big alley guy, but that doesn't mean that it can't be the curbside thing. And also, there very well may be people in town that don't have any garbage service that have their own way to get rid of it. A dumpster out of mom and dad's or wherever, that we will be forcing that upon them. So that's always something to keep as mind.
How would that work if we have them do the billing?
So the guy from area said that the billing would only cost like $1 a month.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
I'm all about not doing the billing.
Right, but how do they force everybody to get garbage service?
With an ordinance, we have to pass an ordinance that has to be exclusive. Every customer in town has to have
City
it.
provides.
And
City
we-
provides it, you gotta have it.
Yes, and we do that by statute.
Pretty sure they do the same thing in Springfield and stuff.
When we get bids, is that our next step? We have to do it.
We have to change the ordinance and then put out an RFP. That's at least what I've gotten for is the next steps.
Well, make a list of what we want to see.
Yes,
and-
change the ordinance, make a list of what we want to see, and put it out
For
for
the
it.
RFP.
But just by changing the ordinance, we could still do what we're doing now.
Yes.
We wouldn't have to go that.
You could still turn down all of the bids,
Right.
essentially. Yeah.
Yes, you could.
Right. Changing the ordinance or statute doesn't lock us in to having to have citywide trash service.
If we have the ordinance, how can we not?
I'm pretty sure, I looked at Athen's a little bit, but I'm pretty sure it'll read, the city may at any time enforce this. The city has the power to do this.
I mean, if it's just giving us another option, then I would vote with changing the ordinance.
Yes. Yeah, if we all, all seems like we think it's in a pretty good path forward. We can go ahead and, I can talk with Jordan, look at some other codes of other cities and get an ordinance change proposal. We pay Jordan anyways, so, and he's usually pretty good about getting that stuff done, so, and he makes it pretty simple for the most part.
Well, they really don't know what we're gonna get until we bid it.
No.
But we have to do the ordinance to bid it, right?
Yes. I have a feeling Harry is gonna blow everyone out of the water, but that's just me. Just from the 3 presentations that I saw.
This guy seemed like he had a lot of benefits, extra stuff,
Very true.
but when they said about having them bill it.
Didn't know
Yeah.
that.
What do you guys think? I don't see any reason to do the billing ourselves.
No, it's kind of,
We're not gonna.
We have no leverage.
We're not gonna have a billing, we're not gonna have a water bill here in a couple of months.
Put it on.
Right.
Roll it into property taxes every year.
Right.
they probably need an ordinance for that.
Right. I don't see any reason to make it higher. Well, I mean, we'd only be able to do that with our own billing, but it doesn't need to be higher than what their cost is. So we're not, I see no reason to get income from this,
If they're gonna.
especially with our current financial situation.
If they're gonna bill it and do all the work, then.
I don't need to see any profit from it.
And if we like someone else that we don't necessarily like the billing numbers for, maybe that's one of the negotiating points we can make also. So, maybe that billing number he gave us wasn't set in stone.
Probably.
Oh, it all come out of it, won't it? Probably.
Yes. All right, we'll begin to get some language prepared in draft form to change the ordinance to try to continue to go down this path. That should be, and on the next agenda, can you put proposed ordinance change under new business? I do believe that Jordan should be able to have something in draft form by then. Call him tomorrow. Good? Okay. Back to old business. There is no business district appropriation. And the discussion of the city financial investment policy, I have not heard from Mr. Wade yet, from A.G. Edwards. I think we're running out of time here. That money's gonna be coming in a couple months. I think we should, I'll go ahead and get with Jordan and see what it takes to make the investment policy that, he said you gotta have a resolution or put it in statute of how it's handled. I think it's pretty, from what I've been reading, it's pretty simple. All we do is just say any investment policy is determined by the council. That's the way we make it. That's the policy's in place, the state's happy our policy's in place, and then we can decide what we want to do with it. But like he said, we need to get that policy in place before. I was hoping we'd hear something from Mr. Wade, but we have not. I think that A.J. Edwards is an investment firm, not a bank. I don't think that he's got the tools to. That's just not their bread and butter as municipalities with money that's guaranteed. So that's the only update I have on that. Moving on to new business, recycling we spoke about. Economic Development Planning Board update. Jim was not able to make it tonight. I passed on the concerns about the advertising grant from the last meeting from the Market on the Hill. I sent out some emails with some information about the grant, mainly a budget that they came up with. They do have a plan. It wasn't just for advertising per se. They got some paragraphs in there about how they feel it meets the development and redevelopment plan that's the business district supposed to be used for. Jim is also going to speak about that at the next meeting to field any questions that we might have. Again, I don't feel it's business district money, but that's obviously up for discussion. And also he's going to talk about, I believe that they're going to move forward and form their own 501c3. A question now, not because it's not because they just want to get away from the city and be independent. It's the fact that I believe, and I believe them, they're allowed to have, there's so many more grant opportunities for nonprofits than what there is for units of government. They looked into several of them that would help drive their goals, our goals, everybody's goals. But when you get down to it, just they don't accept applications from units of government. It's that simple. The money that's there now, I don't think goes anywhere. I'm pretty sure that would stay in our account. I know that was a concern of their board, but at the same time, Jim reassured me. He said, I told my board, hey, we're doing the not-for-profits, we can get the grants. Let's focus on that, and let's not worry about the $400 and some odd thousand sitting in the bank. I know it's a lot to worry about, but they'll have more about that as well. But I think that they are going to move forward with that. I'll be going to the next meeting. That is first Wednesday in November. It'll be the night after the 3rd.
What will the dynamic be after that? Once they do that, that $400,000 that we would retain in the account, that still would have to go towards economic development.
Yes, it would.
So, I mean,
Well,
it's
it goes
essentially
towards the donation agreement.
Yes.
It's a community donation. It's not exclusively economic development, so.
Right. Yeah, whatever the wording is in the donation agreement from the wind farm.
So essentially, over time, they're probably gonna request it out of there anyway.
Well, they can approach us and put
That's
up
what I'm saying.
proposals, so.
Yeah. They'd have to legit request and propose, and we'd have to accept it.
Yes.
Or vote on it.
I'm pretty sure we'd have to accept it. I don't see any legal grounds for them, for that money to go to them. Check was made out to the city of Mount Pulaski.
That's what I was getting ready to say, that check's made up for the city of Pulaski.
I don't know, and I don't know if they've talked with it now by forming this 501c3, that they decide to breach our contract.
I was gonna say.
There's a lot of variables that haven't been discussed yet. They're in this beginning stage, the beginning stages.
Would the wind farm just be donating to them from then on out then? Is that the plan?
That's up to a no.
That's up to now.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that's their plan.
See, to me, they can still be the Mount Pulaski Economic Development Board as our board members that I've appointed. They could go start their 501c3, those 7 people at any time. They could be both. I don't know if they thought that, I don't know if they've thought about that, but again, all beginning stages, just bringing everybody up to speed on what's going on. Go Economic Development, so much fun.
Are you still needing one member for one seat?
I thought I had. Yes, there is one seat open. Why, you got someone?
No.
Oh. Okay, they kind of, I've been busy working the last couple weeks in harvest, but I'll get back up on it. When we make
No,
another
you're
draft.
fine, I just didn't know, it's always good to keep an eye.
Oh, yes, be
And again, might as well talk about it now. You know, if those 6 board members say, we don't want to do your board anymore, we're forming our own board, what do we do with the Mount Pulaski Economic Development and Planning Board? Do we disband it?
Yeah.
Do we try to appoint 5 new members to fill those spots?
Good luck. Then you're gonna have a 501c economic development
And,
organization.
and
Well,
city
Like up
economic
against the-
development, yeah, I agree.
I think we take a wait and see
So
approach.
we should redundant.
And the reason I say that, like you said, it's in the early stages. Who knows what they're gonna come up with? So if they go down that path and create their own, to me, a lot of that's gonna hinge on, what does NL do? And if NL doesn't care, I think we're open to do whatever we want. But until all this plays out, and, you know, we need to kind of take baby steps. And so, to me, I don't think it's worth second guessing at this present time.
No. Yeah, there's too many what ifs, so. Anyways, that's the update, that's what I've been told. Obviously, I'll go to the meeting next Wednesday. Anybody that wants to go is more than welcome, as always. So. Okay. Moving on to other business, there's any other business to discuss? Only thing I have is an update on the dangerous buildings that we voted to abate. We got the title searches back from Jordan late last week. That took several weeks to do. I didn't realize the title search took that long.
I think they're really busy too.
Yeah, we got those back from Jordan late last week, so hopefully this week and the next week, hopefully we'll get those letters sent out. Give you guys a chance to look at those letters, but now that we have the title searches, we begin to move forward with what we were doing with that.
Did he get all 3 titles back? Okay, because I knew he was having a hard time on the Jefferson Street one.
That one was actually the easiest of all
Was
to
it?
understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. That's all I had for other business. Anybody have anything else? Is there any public comments on the non-agenda items? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to exit regular session and enter executive session for 20 minutes to discuss personnel.
Motion.
Motion Smock,
Second.
second Hagenbaugh. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Had to take a long
Is it just Matt?
Matt and
Chris. Okay, after speaking in executive session, I'll entertain a motion to approve the wages as discussed.
Motion.
Motion Smock,
Second.
second Hagenbaugh. Roll call, please.
Kate Davis,
Yes.
Tim Emmer,
Yes.
Randy Higginbotham,
Yes.
Darren Phillips,
Yes.
Dan Smough,
Yes.
Brad Davis,
Yes.
Motion passes. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion Smock,
I'll take the second.
second Phillips. Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thunder tonight.
I still haven't gotten a new one done.
That busy, eh?
Yes.